You're tuned in to Above All Live Show, giving the scoop and the latest on how the story goes. Broadcasting from Vegas in case you didn't know. Worldwide Great Commission, that's the gospel. Discussing topics of standard is righteous living, bumping them bangers and interviewing different Christians. Who's hot, who's not, does it really matter? It's his hop, non-stop, focus on the ladder. Stay tuned to the dial and turn that volume up. This Faith Radio, Jesus is who we lifting up. So in your ears, we gon' be here for a minute. It's my bro D-Road, he bout to come with it.
Jones.
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is your boy, Damascus, coming at you once again from the headquarters. This is His Top Radio Las Vegas. We're not far from the strip, but we outshine every light on that Las Vegas strip. And why do we say that every time? Why do they call us the light of Las Vegas? Is because we love to shine the light of Jesus Christ, y'all, throughout our city, throughout the nations, and throughout the whole world. What's up, y'all? I'm your boy Damascus, coming at you with another great show. We got another great podcast in store for you. Today we got my brother Mike Matthews, the CEO of DRT, that's Digital Radio Tracker, and also he's going to share some great nuggets for the CHH world, our CHH genre. So make sure you guys get your notepads, get your paper, get all that together. Don't go nowhere, because hey, we got some valuable stuff that we're going to come our way. We're going to pick our brother's brain and just get it in there. But real quick, let me go ahead and get through some of our announcements. Hey, just to let you know that we are still accepting membership for our association. If you want unlimited advertisement, if you want to be on our television network, our radio network, our podcast, everything that we're doing, if you got a product or service, you want to get it out there, make sure you get in touch with us. You become a member, and you will be in the family. Wherever we are, we will take you with us. And also, we have our Cash App Frenzy still going. So if you want to win some cash during our Cash App Frenzy, just go to our community page, join the community, and post your Cash App, and you will if you are selected, you will win some cash. And you don't know what it might be. You might walk away as a millionaire, but the key word is might. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you might get. So go ahead and participate in that, our Cash App contest. And also, we got some new merchandise. Go over to HitTopNation.com. Get your backpack, your shirt, your phone case, whatever you got, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want. Even if you have some suggestions on what we could add to that, hit us up, let us know, and we will create that for you. And make sure you check out our top 10 charts. His Hot Radio is a reporting radio station, so we come out with our top 10 every month. And also the Commercial Center, if you are offering a service or a product. Basically, what this Commercial Center is, this is your store, this is your real estate, this is your store on the radio network. So we want you to take advantage of that, land your store in our Commercial Center, so everyone who downloads the app and listens to their favorite radio station, they can go over to the Commercial Center and do business with you right there. And also, our last announcement, man, we have a great event coming up. I want to give a shout out to Blood Bought Radio, One Way Radio, all of the entities involved with this. We got 1KQ coming out, man, to Florida, actually. This is where we're talking about unity. We need to unify. The theme is we stand with Martin. And this is the Taking the City Bash 2021. And yes, His Hop will be in the house. We will be there representing. So hopefully we will be able to see you out there in Florida. If you're in that area, check out the website for more information, the address and the dates and the times and all that good stuff. And we will be sure to get you guys in. So hey, and also show us some love. Make sure you download the His Hop Radio app. His Hop Radio in your app store. HISHOP, His Hop Radio in your app store. Make sure you show us some love. Come by our website, HitTopNation.com, and all that good stuff. And we can do this. And so right now, man, I'm telling you, I'm excited. I have a really good brother, man. He's always been a straight shooter every time we talk, man. And he has a heart for the Christian hip hop community. He wants to see us successful, and he's really trying to bring some support to the genre. And also, he has been in the industry 20 plus years. He has a lot to say, and I would advise everyone to listen to what our brother says. So without any other delay, I'm bringing on my brother Mike Matthews, CEO of the DRT Digital Radio Tracker. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? Good to see you again. Good to be here. Back with His Hop Nation radio podcast. So this is part 2 from our first one, man. It seems like it's been forever since we've been connected, and I'm just glad to be back again.
Yes, my brother. I'm glad to have you back. And yeah, man, it's crazy. We've been through a pandemic. We've been through a lot of stuff, man. Just trying to stay connected and get things going. I remember on one of our conversations, you were saying that you would like to come out to Vegas so we could, maybe connect and rub elbows. And it looks like that's going to happen. We're finally opening Vegas back. Vegas is reopening, so maybe that could happen soon.
Exactly, most definitely, man. Vegas is to me like a second home. It's one of my favorite places to go and just hang out and just enjoy. I call it see things bigger than yourself, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's basically envisioning and taking yourself to another level. And so I look forward to meeting you, man. It's been just a blessing, and so hopefully we can get through this pandemic soon and get it all in one building again. And,
come on, that's what I'm talking about. Man, let's do this thing. Okay, my brother. Well, I'm gonna dive right into it, man, because I'm honored that you would come on the podcast with us with the credentials and the experience that you have. And so you've been in the industry, the music industry, like 20 years or so, correct?
Yeah, 28 years.
28 years, man, in the industry. Wow. So you have a wealth of information. And so just tell us about Digital Radio Tracker. You're the CEO of Digital Radio Tracker, and share with us the importance of your music getting monitored and reported in the industry.
Yeah, well, I founded Digital Radio Tracker in 2011. We're a broadcast monitoring company. We track more than 5,000 radio stations around the globe, and we're constantly adding more and more stations. Our goal and our mission is to create a collective voice, pulling people together, giving a voice to the unheard, making sure that stations like His Hop Nation and others are able to be heard within the industry. One of the goals that we have is being able to build a community that's strong, that's not just talking about an inclusive community, but a community that's empowered, a community that are able to stand on their own 2 feet. Stations are able to monetize their playlisting, monetize their companies to be able to build their brands unlike no other. So a big part of what Digital Radio Tracker is doing is really pulling people together. Because one of the things that we found, and me and you talk about this all the time, Damascus, is that especially in the Christian hip-hop movement, it's tough. It's a struggle to pull people together. Everybody wants to build their network, their net worth, but they don't want to build their network. They don't want to come together and work together. And that's one of the things that we hope Digital Radio Tracker can do. We can level the playing field, be that neutral ground that people can come together and build a community of strength and be able to feed one another, be able to help one another grow their listening audience, be able to expand their base, be able to monetize their station, be able to help one another when they're having technical difficulties with their station. These are things that we've seen that has been lacking within the industry is support. And I think what you're doing at His Hop Nation is so invaluable that stations need to really, really look at and say, wait a minute, hold up. This is not just a station. This is a network that's coming together and trying to pull people together to educate, putting on calls like this, podcasts, and say, wait a minute, we're going to bring the players to you. We're going to be able to, that you can ask questions to, get your questions actually answered. And for so long, the industry at large has been lacking that. There's been a lack of transparency. And one of the things that I feel that Digital Radio Tracker does is to benefit that independent radio station. It's, in other words, you have a voice, you are somebody. It's being able to include the data, the songs that you're playing, being able to let the industry at large know that, hey, look, these are some of the new and developing artists that you need to be paying attention to. And the only way to get on that radar is through the charts, is through the reports. It's being able to get in front, putting a station like His Hop Nation in front of the industry, letting them know that you exist, letting them know that you're an outlet to break a lot of new music, that you are shining a spotlight on the talent that otherwise would not be heard. And that's a big part of what Digital Radio Tracker is doing, a big part of what we want to continue to do as we try to pull the communities together. And we all know that's the tough part, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yes, you're right.
Letting them know that you exist. Letting them know that you're an outlet.
Hold on, I'm trying to. I got my phone stuck over here. Get some feedback over here. Yes, bro, everything you said, man, I support, and that is our heart. I think that's one of the reasons why we connect so well, because we're like-minded. We have the same heart. I'm all for the unity. I'm all for the support. I'm all for coming together. Well, first of all, our genre, being that, it's Christian, it's gospel, where our thing is that we want to be a positive force in media, and so it's not that we want to go out and preach against people or anything like that, but we just want to offer an alternative. There's a lot of people that I grew up with, they love hip hop music, but they don't like the content that's in it right now, or they don't want their children to listen to the content that is in it right now. And so now we're offering something that the whole community can vibe to, the whole family can, and also referring to our clubs. We have a Christian club that we operated for 7 years out here, Club His Hop, and we were on the news one time, and on the news I mentioned how the whole family comes to the front of the stage, and have a good time. This is a place where the whole family can come and have a good time and get something uplifting, something positive in the process. And so it's like, I think there's two things, first of all, for something like this to be successful, it's like a slap in the face to a lot of establishments, because they're the opposite of that. You know what I mean? They want to promote their corruption and things like that. And then, so that's one reason why it's not accepted. And then, secondly, the reason why this type of entity is struggling is because once we do come together and become a family, and once we realize like we're here to love on each other, it'll be unstoppable. You know what I mean? Because people are hungry for that. So that's my 2 cents.
That's a big part of what's missing, Damascus. It's a big part in the industry at large. You've got a great movement, man. There's a lot of artists, there's a lot of talent out here, but the problem is it's not exposed. And I believe we talked a little bit about this on our part 1 of our call. A lot of the Christian hip hop artists, they're so focused a lot of times on their message that they're not focused on just putting out good music. I was listening to what you were just talking about the venue, the club you guys got, and what you're doing. It's how things are presented. A lot of times, it's like, how do you know if you like a song? Just listen to it. What I feel a lot of things that have taken place is that a lot of Christian hip hop artists, they're presenting a message, not presenting a song. So what happens is that a lot of people in general, they're judgmental. they're stereotyping, they're into all of these things because they're not saying, hey, wait a minute, let me just check this song out. See, how many times do you hear a Christian hip-hop artist just say, hey, here's a hot new song, check it out? What many of them are doing is they preface it by a story, by a message. You don't need to do that. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes out here. I think in this genre, in order for this genre to grow and be more mass accepted and adopted, what has to happen is there has to be the generalization of it as just good music. One of the things that was very interesting for me, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong at this, but I went to a concert about a year and a half ago. Well, now it's probably almost 2 years from the pandemic. And it was an artist called NF. You've heard of NF?
Yeah, I've heard of him, NF, yeah.
And I was blown away. I said, man, this kid is incredible. And I didn't even know that his background. I didn't know the positivity in his message. I didn't know that a lot of people in the audience that I was in, I didn't know that he must be like a Christian hip hop artist. I didn't know. And maybe he is. But there's a reason why I'm saying this. It's because it didn't matter. I was there and I was taken in by good music. I was taken in by a talented artist. It doesn't matter if he's considered a Christian hip-hop artist. Doesn't matter if he's considered a gangster rap artist. I don't know the guy. I just know he has good music and put on a great show. I just know he entertained thousands of people that just enjoyed him. I became a fan. And that's what I'm referring to here, is that I think for a lot of us, we tend to compartmentalize everything. Everybody's classifying everything instead of just saying, you know what, man, this is great music, check it out, man, and let people just fall in love with it. And through that, if you got a message, great. If you got something to say, great. But you're ministering to people through what you do. And it's not like, okay, you've got a stamp on your head saying, hey, I'm a gospel artist, I'm a gospel hip hop artist. Why put all the labels on it? And I think that's one of the struggles with getting mainstream, is that there's so many labels put on it. Instead of it being accepted as just good music, that, everybody's looking for a award, a classification, and instead of just focusing on the music. And I think that's a big miss here, that we've got to, at large, those of us that influence that particular genre need to continue to keep speaking that, you know what, let's just focus on good music. Let's focus on good music. Why is it only should be promoted in ministries? Why should it only be promoted in churches? Why should you only perform in clubs that are focused on that genre of music? Why can't a Damascus go perform in a club that also has secular rap artists at it, secular hip hop artists? Why is that? Why is it that everybody has to stay across the street? Everybody has to stay in their own lane. And for me, that is a big thing that I feel needs to change. And I think when that begins to change, I think the dynamics of the acceptance of the genre you'll see it grow a lot more. What do you think about that?
All right. I mean, you said a lot. You said a lot right there. And everyone who's tuning in, just to let you know, this is Mike Matthews. He is the CEO of DRT, Digital Radio Tracker, where your music can be monitored and reported. Very important to get your music on that chart that they got over there. And so I know that it's been a heated topic for some years now. There's been Christian rappers that didn't want that label as a Christian rapper, or a gospel rapper. You know, even some of our big names went through that phase, and they felt that if they get rid of the title Christian rapper, that they could make it in mainstream, or they could go further in their careers. They felt that they were limited or something like that. And so that's something that has been a discussion, and I think there's a positive and a negative to that. Let me respond to NF real quick. I believe that NF is effective. I know that he started out with the Christian, the CHH, but he doesn't represent himself as a Christian or CHH artist. He doesn't wear it on his sleeve. He just presents himself as a good, dope artist, and he draws people in, and he's welcoming everybody, like, you know, come as you are, everybody come and enjoy and hear, and he's able to effectively get his music out, and I think that's a great tactic. Now, if you can do that, and I guess the issue is, and what a lot of Christian people are afraid of, is the compromise. Like, there's been situations where Christian artists, and I think this happens in all the genres, not just the Christian rap, as they'll tell them to water the message down. You know, don't mention Jesus, or you can't share your faith, or you can't say this, or you can't say that. And so a lot of people are afraid of that as well. And so we got to find a balance. We got to be able to be as creative as we can, but also be able to connect with the people while you're doing it, and not push them away. Because I know that not just the artists, but, you know, a lot of pastors and Christians can come off as if they're judging. You know, they could, turn people off just because of the way they present the message, instead of focusing on the love and focusing on, hey, this can hurt you down the road. You know, if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, you know, I believe that my God can deliver you. I believe that, you know, this will, you'll end up in rehab, or, you know, you'll lose your family or whatever. Like, if you want to change your life and get your life together, we serve a loving God that can help you do it. But most of the times the message comes across like, you know, you're a filthy sinner, and God is going to judge you and damn you to hell, and this and that and the other. And that can turn people off. And so I think that in all that we do, that there is a fine balance. You know, you got to find what's that sweet spot for you. And it could be different for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Not one suit fits all, you know. And so I think that would be like the best way to tackle that situation.
Sure, I agree. I mean, I call it let your light shine, period. So be who you are. And I agree with you. There's a lot of politics in the industry. Sure. You know, where, yeah, you're not going to get played on certain radio stations if you mention certain words or terms and things like that. But what I have to say in regards to that, it's just like anything else. Think about what I'm about to tell you. 20 years ago, the way songs were on the radio, it's very different now, is it not? There's a lot of things that's become more acceptable. There's a lot of terms and things that's on the radio now that 20 years ago it wasn't on the radio. So I say that to say that when you're creating something, that's why it's called marketing, or being marketable. You have to, nobody's trying to change an artist on who they are. Be who you are, but you also have to understand that you're trying to be marketable to an audience. Who are you trying to reach? What's really your target? So in thinking like that, you may have a particular song that you are doing for commercial radio, for example. And then you may have other songs that are just album songs that aren't designed for commercial radio, that are now serving another purpose, like a mixtape song and so forth. So these are things that artists, that as you're building your movement and building your brand, when you're dealing with a controversial in itself niche genre like Christian hip hop, you have to also look at presenting yourself and letting your light shine in a different way. And it was great that we were talking about NF like that. I think he did a fantastic job of the way that he crafted, and he stayed true to himself, or at least I believe from what I know, about him is that he stayed true to himself. Is like you said, just being a dope artist. Just being a dope artist. There's no labels, there's no tags. I'm just a dope artist. And I think that if people begin to posture themselves more like that, people will then begin to hear their message, be able to listen. Think about it like this. What captures your attention captures you, right? So if you're feeling someone's song, if I'm feeling this song by Damascus, and the song is hot and it's happening, I'm feeling that song, I want to check out what else you got. I'm becoming a fan of you. You just happen to have music that's in this particular genre, but I'm a fan of you. And I think that's what the reverse happens here. I think people are trying to push the message before they gravitate the fan. In other words, capture their attention. When you get their attention, then you can feed them your message. I noticed that, and I use myself as an example because I'm a strong believer, as you know, and church every Sunday and the whole nine. Well, in the music industry, you're going to find yourself around people, obviously, that maybe they don't believe, maybe they don't go to church, maybe, people are not spiritual. I mean, everybody's got their thing. Well, one of the things that I noticed about my walk, and God used in what I call my ministry, is he put me in the presence of a lot of non-believers. People that just straight up, I mean, I had a very good friend that didn't even like to even mention the word God. It was almost like it was a bad word. He believed in the universe. He believed in powers and other things. And what was incredible about what I witnessed firsthand was just literally not me preaching to him, not me saying anything particular to him, just me letting my light shine, just being who I am, and him being attracted to what he saw, the type of business person that I was, the type of friend that I was. But little did he know that that was the God in me that was shining. And what I started noticing after a period of time, and he heard I'm going to church, and he hear me talking about things spiritually and how I believe and how I think. After a period of time, I started hearing him saying, he went from saying, like praise your God to praise God, to thanking God, to, God blessed him, God did this, to acknowledging that even existed. And this is someone that didn't even acknowledge the existence of God before. And so it made me realize that you can minister to someone without preaching to someone. Just literally walking and allowing God, the God in you, to shine. And I think that's where a lot of people miss, is because they're always thinking God is up there, God is somewhere else, that God doesn't dwell within them, that because of who they are or maybe the things that they've done, they've judged themselves instead of saying, hey, wait a minute, God is not up there, God is within you, and all I got to do is be myself, and God, the God in me is going to shine. So it becomes a different kind of thing. So I say that to say, with Christian hip-hop, you don't have to promote God. People will see God. You don't have to even worry about your message. Your message is going to be heard. People will gravitate to you if they're feeling you, right? That's ultimately what it's about. It's about making good music. It's about presenting your point of view. And it's about allowing people to not judge. Allowing people to be free to say, you know what, man, I don't know. I don't really understand what he's saying, but that is jamming. I'm feeling that track. I'm feeling that hook, whatever it may be. That's what has to happen, I think, in cultivating this genre for it to be embraced more. I feel that is going to be a key in the direction of whether it's going to grow or not. I'm sorry, did we lose some audio?
Okay, my bad. Can you hear me now? I want to throw this in the atmosphere, man. I've always been a music lover, and I love all genres. As young as I can remember, man, I was always in front of the radio, and I remember when like with rock and roll, right? I remember that there is when punk rock started to get popular, and then there's different, there's hardcore rock, then there's grunge rock, and then there was like just different, even though it was all rock, it was like different cultures of it, you know what I mean, subcultures in that genre. And so like even with us, even with the Christian hip hop, I believe that there's space for the hardcore preaching, Jesus, God type of genre, you know what I'm saying? And then there's also space for the, hey, you know what, check me out, check out my music, check me out as an artist. And then once we bring you in a little deeper, and then you're gonna get the message, you know what I mean? I think, you know what I mean, like let's create that type of space. Because like for me, as a Christian, I got saved when I was 16 years old, and I was into gospel rap. I'm talking about the era of the 90s with Eazy-E and NWA and things like that. So I was into the hardcore hip hop type of stuff, But I, as a young Christian, I didn't have nothing to listen to. I had to end up throwing my stuff away because that was like hurting my spirit. I can't listen to, selling drugs and killing your mama type stuff, But if I had, like for me, I probably would have gravitated to the hardcore God in your face, beating the beat up, what I'm saying, with Jesus type of hardcore Christian rap. But like you said, some people that might turn some people away. Then okay, well then let's create another space. Let this be the hardcore Christian, and then let's this be the moderate Christian rap, to where they're not gonna get that God in your face all the time, but they're gonna get some good music. It's clean, it's positive, and they can go deeper and get a message. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly, but that's what we're talking about here today. That's what the issue is. You notice what you just said. It's like all of these subcategories, and what people have done is they've already stereotyped you. So they've already judged you on saying, well, you know what? All Christian hip hop must be hardcore God rap. You see what I'm saying? Kind of thing. And so even though, like you just said, using the terminology moderate and all these other things, it's too hard to explain, right? Yeah. So when someone goes to take it in, they don't have a Damascus and say, let me break it down to you. I'm not coming at you like that. See, it's you have to explain it. And a lot of times people, you don't have their attention. That's why I always say you have to capture someone's attention first, then they'll hear what you have to say. See, and what people are doing is they're not capturing people's attention. They're just saying, hey, look, I'm like this. I'm like that. This is what it needs to be. And that's why I said, I want to ask you something. While we're on this topic here, how do you think Lecrae is so successful? What do you think that's something? I'd like to get your take on that. I don't know much about Lecrae. I had the pleasure to meet him and talk to him a little bit and stuff. And real cool guy, real humble guy. And but he's from Houston, where I'm at. And I've watched him go from performing in the local churches to selling out arenas and stuff. I mean, all over the place. And so I'm very proud of him. I'm seeing his career just grow and blossom, and he's been able to help launch a lot of other artists' careers as well. Yeah. So I commend him for that. But one of the things that I noticed is that people don't call him a Christian hip hop artist. I haven't heard anybody say that. They just say Lecrae. Have you heard this rapper named Lecrae? So what do you think that is? Give me your take on that.
Okay. Well, here's my take. Like I said, I've been around this genre for a long time. I remember when the gospel gangsters were big on the West Coast, in the 90s and stuff like that, and the cross movement and all that on the East Coast. And then Lecrae came on the scene. When he came on the scene, his early stuff was the hardcore Christian God rap. You know, I remember some of his songs. You know, he talked about his faith and talking about dying for his faith, and he talked about it, and he got the attention of the Christian community. You know, there is a space for that. You know, there is a space for the front line. Like, I consider myself a frontline Christian. I mean, you know, his hop radio, you know, you can't deny that. You know what I mean? That's a frontline Christian stance right there. But I think he evolved. Like, once he did win that crowd over, he started to change. Like, he told us when he was changing his message. And I guess you could say he went to the moderate side. And so I think this just kind of dropped in my spirit. I think when you represent yourself as the hardcore guy, then you move over to moderate. That's when people take issue, because it's like, hey, you know, just like, let's say if I'm gonna say I'm a strong gangbanger and I'm gonna shoot up the neighborhood, and then the next day you see me in a business suit. You know what I mean? It's like you're totally changed. Like, you know, what's going on? Like, who are you? You know, what are you are? So I think it has to do with how you represent yourself to the public. And then I would have to say my second response I would have to say that he had a very good business sense. He had very good backing. Like, if you would just look at this just from a business standpoint, like, he did everything right almost. You know what I mean? Like, he got connected with the right people. He connected to the right crowd. You know what I mean? And he had the great publicity. His label blew up. Like, you would say he did everything right just about. Now, I would say that like, I don't know if you know what's going on with him currently. Like, currently, you know, he's suffering a lot of rejection from the Christian community. A lot of people are even going so far to say that he's not even a Christian artist per se. And so, like I said, I think maybe that's because he came out as the hardcore God rapper guy. Then he moved over to the moderate, and then he also kind of moved over to the secular, because he's had some secular artists, E40 and different people, like, on his music and stuff like that. And so, like you said, we got to work that out. We got to let everyone know that there's a lane for this. Now, if you get into this lane, you probably should stay in that lane. Like, you got to figure out what lane you want to be in, because if you're jumping to the moderate side, then be in your lane. But if you're gonna jump to the moderate side and try to jump over to the hardcore God side, you're gonna confuse the people. You know what I mean? Like who are you or whatever. You know, and that's my take. Maybe that's what the thing is. You know, because there's so few of them out there. Maybe you have to be all that. You got to wear all these hats. You know what I mean, to reach all the people. And so, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how I view it.
So, and I appreciate your point of view and the sharing and being transparent about it. But so you wouldn't say that that's evolution? That's maybe, aren't all artists entitled to evolve? So in Christian hip hop, you can't evolve from being hardcore God to moderate, using your terminology. But yet in the secular world, we don't say that, right? In the secular world, we don't say that, well, you're a hardcore gangster rapper, right? And now you become a moderate rapper. You're just a rapper. You see my point of view?
Yeah.
Is that in the Christian community, our minds, and sometimes we don't even realize it, we are looking at things with filters instead of saying, you know, wait a minute, let me take the filters off. I heard a story was very, very interesting about a gentleman that was looking outside, and he was seeing that a woman was hanging up her clothes, and he kept looking, and he was like, why is she hanging up dirty clothes? And he had called his wife over, and he showed her. He said, well, man, this doesn't make any sense. The clothes is dirty. She needs to wash it. And then his wife looked at the window and said, you know, the window is dirty. That's the clothes was clean, but because he was looking through a dirty window, it looked like the clothes was dirty. People
Gotcha.
don't realize that. Are we looking through the window, or are we looking at something straight for what it is? That there's so many things out here that are filtering our vision that can
Yes.
cause us to see something as dirty and it's really clean. So I say that to say that we have to, I call it trust God. Because many times we don't know, but we think we know. So we're quick to judge. See, I would like somebody to give me give me some music and say, hey, check this out, this is good music. I would prefer that to have the preface. What we do a lot of times is we get caught up in the guidelines instead of the message, instead of the artist. We're trying to figure out, well, like you said, what lane are they trying to be in? Well, nobody stays the same. Are you the same person you were today that you were 10 years ago? You're not. We all evolve. And when you evolve, you become wiser. You become, maybe God's telling you, you know what, hey, wait a minute. You have this bigger audience now. I need you to perpetuate this message because now you're speaking to this platform versus the platform 5 years ago. So, and it's hard. It's a very debatable thing here, and that's why it's so controversial. Because you ask 10 people Christian hip hop, you're going to get 10 different answers. Because everybody's perception is different. It's like you say the word church. My God, people, there's so many definitions of church. That's crazy. This pandemic has redefined church. What is church? People haven't even been in a building. People are realizing with this pandemic going on that the church is you. We have in church right now. But for so long, people have stereotyped church as a building. It's because we're going to church on Sunday morning. We're going to a physical place. Well, who's been going to a physical place in the last year? So I'm saying all that to say that that's what's been happening in the Christian hip-hop movement. It's everybody's looking at what their definition is of a church instead of looking at it as music. That's just great positive music. So what is starting to happen is, like you were saying, offshoots, like with the rock thing. Now you have what? Christian hip-hop. You got what? Christian rock. You got Christian country. You know what I heard? They call it positive country, right?
Uh-huh.
Positive country. What? It's country music. But it's positive country. You know, there's all of these things, and in my opinion, it goes back to the roots. It's kind of like saying Christian and gospel. Can someone explain to me what the difference is between Christian music and gospel music?
I know, huh?
Most people don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But we all grew up hearing, and even still to this day, there's two different categories. There's Christian inspirational, and there's gospel music. But don't fundamentally they both got the same message? I don't know. I wish somebody could explain it to me.
They should be. Yeah, they should be. I think that's a whole nother topic and another can of worms that we can open up, you know, the difference between Christian and gospel, man. I mean, this is a good discussion. I'm glad that we can be transparent and we can have this discussion. A lot of it is taboo in some circles, man, but let's get it out there. Let's try to fix this thing so we can move forward. And I have a response to that, but also we have some comments over here. And so I want to read a couple of comments. We have from Britage Harris. She's saying, I feel yes, we can evolve, but from hardcore to moderate is downgrading in any aspect. God is extreme, not lukewarm. And she also comments and she says that and I agree, you can't look on the outside of some things and see the real deal. We do all see in part, but compromise is so dismissed and accepted. Did I say that right? nowadays that you must judge by the fruit of the thing and not be unequally yoked with the world. And yes, too many perspectives is another issue. Christian music should be Christ-centered, and gospel should be about the Great Commission. Okay, all right, man. Those are a lot of comments there. Cool. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bree, for commenting and engaging in the conversation. And so, okay, so how do you have a response for her comments?
Well, one of the things I would just probably just say it like this, because like I said, this is a very controversial topic, and you ask 10 people, you get 10 different opinions. I always like to say it like this: isn't our God bigger than all of that? At the end of the day, we can have this point of view, that point of view. I just believe my God is bigger than the moderate, bigger than the extreme, bigger than those issues. And I think that that's where we have to kind of get back to, is the point to where it's more focused on Him. Because when we get off into all these other things, we're focusing on them. It's kind of like the little God versus the big God, right? The big G versus the little g. You know, and that's just the way that I believe in addressing that. That some people's opinion and point of view is going to be, hey, you know what? You know, God doesn't play. There's no fine lines. It's just this all the way left. And you're going to have that point of view. And then you got some people that say, we've been using the word all day today, moderate, you know, and that, hey, you know what, middle of the road, that's okay. You know, it's kind of one of those things where it's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, you know, my personal perception may not be your personal perception, might be the next person's personal perception, is that we all have different levels of faith. Everybody's belief system is different. So we have to always be careful when you're speaking to someone to not sound like you're pushing your beliefs on them. You know, just because my God, I'm saying my God is this big, somebody else may think their God is only this big. Doesn't make somebody right or someone wrong. It's just a person's perspective. It's a person's opinion. So for the listeners here that are hearing me and you speak today about this, is that we're just being very transparent about points of views and things. These are all very debatable topics, but this is what's so beautiful, is that we're talking about it. This is where it begins at. It begins with the discussion. It begins with being transparent with one another and being able to walk away and say, hey, I don't agree with everything Damascus has to say. I don't agree with everything Mike has to say. But I love my brother. You know, this is a good person. This person has a good heart. Like I said, God is bigger than all of that. Because if we just look at someone and say, hey, I don't agree with their opinion, therefore I don't like that man, well, now we're really being more judgmental, right? Yeah. We're not saying, hey, look, you know what? My God is bigger than opinions. And at the end of the day, ultimately, it's about His heart. It's about His nation. It's about His world, not ours.
Yes, yes. And this is my response to it. I think as I get into the Word and I'm thinking about different scriptures and like the nation of Israel in different periods of their history, they've had different people that play different roles. They've had kings, they've had judges, they had prophets, they've had priests, and everyone played a different role. You know what I mean? You wouldn't expect a priest to do or act like the king, you know, or to, you know, if there's an issue that we need to bring to the king, you know, why go to a priest or to a worship leader? You know, there's pastors, there's worship leaders, there's different roles. And so I said that to say this, an artist is not a pastor. You know what I mean? An artist, a Christian rapper, you know, it's not his job to be your pastor. You know what I mean? It's not his job. You can't expect him to, you know, preach a 3-point sermon every time they pick up the mic, because, you know, they are not a pastor. They're an artist. They're there to minister. And also, now me, my heart is to minister. I'm an evangelist. And so my heart is to reach people through the music type of a thing. And so just because the artist is not functioning as a pastor doesn't mean his ministry is invalid or his ministry is watered down or he's not doing it right. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of it is, what is this person called to do? You know, how is this person called to function? And can they function in that office and do it in excellence and doing it with the anointing of God, and is God moving in that person? So I think there may be a little bit of that goes into play. But like you said, man, this can be a can of worms. This can be a discussion. You know, 10 different people can have 10 different viewpoints about it. I mean, my stand, I want to say this, and then I just want to go on to the next topic before we conclude the podcast. But I want to say this, me personally, where I stand, where the His Hop Nation stands, like I say, my whole experience with God has always been radical. Like I say, as when God came into my life as a teenager, I went to my high school. I debated my science teachers. You know, they try to cram evolution down my throat, and I'm bringing the Bible to class and stuff like that. Like, this is what I believe in. So I've always been on that front edge, kind of radical, hardcore God type of a Christian. And I've been able to see people on my job get touched with the gospel, and people in my school, and I've been able to see ministries grow. Like, you know, just like I say, you know, we opened up a Christian club in the middle of Sin City. You know, how frontline is that? You know what I'm saying? That's radical. You know, they're saying that, hey, you know, we're a Christian gospel hip hop club, and we're like right off the strip kind of a thing. And so I understand both sides of it. But I do lean towards the radical, hardcore message, because this could be, to me, I think it's a matter of life and death. Like, if somebody is at odds, like the Bible says, to be friends with the world, you're an enemy with God, you know. And so God will, you know, Jesus even said, if you're not for me, you're against me. And so, like, at the end of the day, there's a war, there's a battle that's being fought. And I want to snatch as many people out of the hands of the enemy as I possibly can. And however I can, you know, if I have to play some spoons, or if I have to, you know, play buckets, you know, drum on buckets out in the middle of the strip, if I can win people and then give them the message, that's just how I'm going to do it. But I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it. Everyone needs to do it like me. My way is right for everybody. You know, you reach people through relationships, and so there's different ways to do it. But the only thing that we can't do as the body of Christ is compromise. You know, there is a difference between darkness and light, if you know what I'm saying. So that's just to kind of show people, you know, where we are as far as the His Hop Nation in the way that we view it. And okay, I think we have a couple more comments, and then we'll go to move to the next topic. This is Brutage once again, and she's saying, depends on which God you serve. I think that the issue to who you yield your members to is your God. So yes, I agree. If we okay, there's another comment that just went up. Agree, if we focus on the one and the only God, we would all have our own opinions. We wouldn't all have our own opinions. Okay, so I think these are great. We'll probably address the rest of these comments post show, unless you see something, Mike, that you want to jump on and address. But yeah, these are great comments, great interaction. So the topic, basically, I'm going to talk a little more on the industry side of it. You know, what can an artist do today? What would you suggest a brand new Christian hip hop artist jumping into this industry, knowing that, you know, you've been in the industry for so long and you've been watching, you're like on the outside looking in, and you hear the chatter, you hear what other people are saying about our genre, you see how we present ourselves to the public, you know what I'm saying? So let's say a brand new artist jumping into this thing, what would you suggest that they should do to make an impact and be effective and be successful?
Okay. So it's a very broad question there, but I'm gonna try to give you a little short answer. If it was a new artist coming out right now, and one of the things that I did, I spent 25 years managing artists, working with new and developing artists. Even to this day, I promote and market new and developing artists. One of the best things that an artist can do to perpetuate their brand is focus on themselves as a brand. For so long, everyone looked at is, okay, an artist, I rap, I sing, I produce music, I sell music. Well, nobody's buying music anymore, right? So it's changed, the dynamics have changed. You are a brand. And that's the first thing you have to recognize. You're not an artist, you're a brand. We use the term artist so people can relate, well, what do you do? But you're a brand now. So everything that you do should be about building your brand. That's the advice I would give that artist, is focus on building your brand. Notice I didn't say anything about music. Focus on building your brand. The music is the byproduct of the brand. So you have like Sony, for example. Sony makes televisions. Sony produces music from a record label. Sony has multiple divisions. Does movies. It's still Sony the brand. So as an artist, if you want to be successful in today's music market, today's music industry, you have to focus on building your brand. How are you going to do that? Whether it be through press, whether it be through word of mouth, whether it be through social media, whether it be anything you can do that perpetuates your brand. Whether it's giving t-shirts out on the strip, flyers out at the clubs, whatever it may be, is perpetuating your brand. And I think for that new and developing artist in 2021, if you start out the gate focusing on building your brand, everything that comes with it, the shows, the music, the sponsorships, the endorsements, all the various components, the merchandising, it's all derived from that brand. If you look at every successful artist, anyone that you would say is successful to you, why are you saying they're successful? Are you saying because they're the money they have? Or are you saying because the amount of music that they've sold, the amount of awards that they've gotten? What is it to you that makes you classify them as a successful artist? And so that's what I would say that an artist should do in the beginning, is define yourself as a brand. Define yourself within the industry of being able to understand, who are you? What is your message? What are you about? What is the core essence? What is your mission statement, right? What are you about? And through that, you will see how fast you can build your career. What so many people do is they do the reverse. It's about the music. It's about other things. And it's not about building the brand. So that's what I would recommend that artist do first, is focus on building your brand, and you'll see how fast all the other stuff come into play.
All right, man. That was great. That was great. That was some good insight. Everyone, this is Mike Matthews, CEO of Digital Radio Tracker. Make sure you guys go down there, check them out. Real quick, man, what kind of charts do you have that people can download or read or look, and just give us a quick update of Digital Radio Tracker? What have you guys been involved with lately?
Well, we did quite a bit here. Digital Radio Tracker predominantly is a broadcast monitoring company, as I explained earlier. We track music all over the world on more than 5,000 radio stations, and we compile reports. So much like credit reports, for those that may not understand, what reports are you talking about? We're talking about music tracking reports. We're talking about reports that are compiled that say, hey, my song is being played on this many stations. I'm getting this many spins per day, per week. Also being able to know what time of day your song is played. We even have comprehensive reports that break down what version of your song is played. These are all things that are vital information for that artist, that manager, for that label to be able to use to monetize your brand, to be able to find out, you know what, where should we set up shows at? Where should we sell merchandise at? How do we go ahead and promote our music to other stations that aren't playing it? All of that is vital information that you can get on digitalradiotracker.com, that you can get engaged with our platform. You can find out more information. One of the beautiful things about it is we're the only monitoring company in the world that has a free artist searchable database. You're able to tap in and find out if an artist is getting airplay or not at no cost. So you'll be surprised. There's probably a lot of artists that are listening to this podcast right now that don't even know their music is being played all over the world. And they have no way of knowing unless they get that DRT report, unless they're able to tap into that pipeline and see what's going on, and then take that information, most importantly, and monetize it on the back end.
Awesome. Come on, y'all. Give it up for Mike Matthews, CEO of Digital Radio Tracker. And you said that they can go to the website, right? Is that website is DRT.com or?
DigitalRadioTracker.com.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to get that correct. Yeah, digitalradiotracker.com. Go over to the website. If you are an artist and you say that you can look this up for free, you can find out who is playing your music. It even goes so far as to finding out what version of your song is being played. I mean, come on, man. This is a great service. I'm excited that His Hot Radio is working with you, that we're partners in this, and also our vision within this partnership is to actually create a chart for our genre, Christian hip hop. So we definitely need to get your support. We definitely need to. This will take it to the next level. This will make us, give us a voice in the arena. We can get behind this movement and do this. Support our brother Mike in any way. Support the His Hop Nation as well, and what we got going. And we have, stations, other radio stations in our network, and we're trying to get everything up. As a matter of fact, I got another station that's ready to join DRT. I'll hit you up in a week or so we can get them on. And I just want to let you know I appreciate you. Thank you for not shying away from the tough topics, the tough conversations. We know that there's definitely a faith side to this, but there's also a business side to this. We got to find that balance, and you gotta represent yourself with excellence all the way around. That's what I think, and you're helping us to do this, so I appreciate you, appreciate your time. We're getting ready to wrap up this show, but before we do, I just want to ask, do you have any final comments or anything that you just want to say before we close out today?
Okay, yeah, sure. I just want to encourage your listeners that in this Christian hip-hop movement, we all got to find a common ground. We got to be able to work together. What Damascus is trying to lead, and what we've been talking about here today, and as well as on our part one, is DRT is here to help bridge the gap. We want to help pull the community together to build a stronger voice that's going to be stronger for the genre. We would love to have a Christian hip-hop chart. We would love that. That is so needed. There's a spotlight needs to shine on this talent that has been cultivated for so long that's been hidden. I personally call it the industry's best kept secret. That's what really this is this culture is really the industry's best kept secret, that those of us believers need to come together on one common ground and say, you know what, we're gonna put all our opinions aside, we're gonna find a way to work together, and we're gonna have one voice, and that one strong voice is God. And that's ultimately what I believe it's got to be about. So Digital Radio Tracker is here to help. We're here to intercede in any way that we can and be that common voice to pull people together that maybe are not able to work directly together, but maybe indirectly through DRT, we can make this happen.
Yes, and we are 100% behind this. It's gonna get done. We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be sooner than we think. So yeah, bro, I appreciate you. Like I said, thank you for your support and helping us walk through the trenches in this. And I believe it's gonna pay off shortly. So everyone, Mike Matthews, Digital Radio Tracker CEO. He brings a lot of experience, a lot of good word. This is the second time he's been on the podcast. The next time we bring him on, we're going to get some questions. We want you guys to send in some questions and just try to, because I mean, this is a wealth of information. This guy is in it. He's where we're trying to get to. So, we definitely need to listen to what he has to say. So I appreciate you, man. Can't wait to meet you personally. And I'm gonna go ahead and close out the show. Yeah, this is your boy Damascus. Once again, this is the His Hop Radio podcast. If you want to listen to the radio station, His Hop Radio 24/7 streaming, download that app, His Hop Radio, in your app store. We're available for the iPhone, the Android, and any Windows device. And also, just come on over to the website if you want to check out everything we got going, hishopnation.com. Club His Hop, we are opening a club in every city. We will be in a city near you. Once you see Club His Hop, just check it out. We're here to do something positive in your community, but we do need your support. So, come on out. Trust me, it'll be COVID free. You know what I mean? We're going to do the social distancing and make it all safe and everything. So once, you see us in your city, come out, support us. We will be in Florida in July 21st. So if you're out that way, I would love to meet you. So, that's what the movement is about. And also check us out on our television network. Right now we're on the Fire Stick. Look up His Hop Television. But soon we're going to be moving to the Roku. And hopefully we will see y'all there. And once again, this is Damascus. We're out, and I'm going to close out like I always do. It's not about us. It's all about the Christ that is in us. God bless. See y'all on the next show.
You are listening to the light of Las Vegas. This is the His Hop Radio Show.